Climate Change and Sustainability, the first ever minister of that office. I am here to my left is Frank Agri. Frank Agri is the director in charge of administration and climate financing in my office. And the one to my right is Cedric Zelo. Cedric Zelo is the technical director in my office. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Would you take this opportunity to brief the committee and also Ghanaians on what your mandate is as Minister for Climate Change and Sustainability?
Thank you very much. And let me first and foremost thank the committee for giving me this opportunity. Honorable Chair, you remember that when this office was announced by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, so many people said, is it not a duplication? Why should President create that office? What about the Ministry of Environment? So I am grateful to have this opportunity to speak to that. First and foremost, we know that climate change is a reality. It is a living testimony. It has affected so many nations, so many communities, so many families and businesses. The creation of this office, preliminary, is to give an opportunity to the President to have first-hand information of climate-related matters in the country. Beyond that, my office is expected to be the vehicle that will do effective coordination between all these ministries. You realize that, Mr. Chair, climate change affects almost all sectors of our economy. So within a snapshot, I am expected to coordinate climate action in all these sensitive ministries and to be able to advise the President on climate-related matters. So my work is knowledge production. I remember that I did an accounting series. Somebody tried to find out exactly what is going on in my office. But to a large extent, we do knowledge production, and we also try to do climate diplomacy to advertise the challenges that we have in the country, in our communities, and to see how we can rally private sector and the international community to support climate action in Ghana. So that is what I do in my office.
Thank you. Before we continue, Rankin would want to make a few comments.
Thank you.
Honorable Minister and my good friend, thank you. This office of yours is a novelty in this country. This is the first of its kind. And today, you are privileged to walk Ghanaians through what the office is about, and which you have already started. So you are here just to walk us through the President's pledge to align our national policies with international efforts to limit global warming. It's a long-time initiative by His Excellency. So, and your office is in charge of this. So the ball is your court today to be able to walk Ghanaians through the steps that you are taking. So we are welcome to this committee. It's a welcome platform for you to be able to let Ghanaians know what the government is doing in terms of promoting sustainability as far as the climate is concerned. So you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my office works closely with the Ministry of Science and Environment. And that is why I am able to speak to the comment or the promise made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But it's important to mention that the mandate of this particular question actually is supposed to be a mandate the mandate of the Ministry of Environment. But because of my coordinating role, I am able to get these information to be able to respond to the question. So, and 3 weeks ago, I sent a detailed report to advise the committee on the reasons why President made that comment, and also some...
Honorable Minister, please, before you go to tackle the matter at hand, for the benefit of viewers, we would want to read what the assurance is, so that after that you can give us the update. I hope that's okay. Yeah, so during the 2025 SONA, His Excellency the President made a commitment to the people of Ghana, and I quote, he said, "We also pledge to align our national policies with international efforts to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2050 and promote a fair and just transition to renewable energy sources," end of quote. So you may continue, please.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for the intervention. So with the permission of the Chair, I will want to go through the presentation I've done, or the report that I sent to the committee, very snappy, so that I can lay the foundation for us to have the engagement. So the Office of the Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability wishes to respectfully provide an update to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Assurances regarding the commitment made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President in the 2025 State of the Nation Address SONA, particularly on Ghana's climate action agenda, renewable energy transition, in alignment with the global 1.5 degrees Celsius target under the Paris Agreement. And I quote, we also pledge to align our national policies with international efforts to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2050 and to promote a fair and just transition to renewable energy sources. SONA 2025, page 45. And this was said by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Chairman, Ghana has signed on to a number of protocols, protocols and agreements. And this particular quote was taken from Article 2 of the Paris Agreement, which is a global agreement, a global decision that has been taken by almost all member countries, and that was just an information that the President gave out to confirm that Ghana is aligned to the global effort. Mr. Chairman, the global scientific census is becoming increasingly clear. The world is dangerously close to exceeding the 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature threshold established under the Paris Agreement. Current trends indicate that global emissions, a major report in 2026, assessing the likelihood and implication of the surpassing 1.5 degrees Celsius.
We have your report. So if you could just give us the headlines, the takeaways.
So going straight, okay. Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, because I have already submitted the report, I'll just do a summary of it, targeting the points that we have taken to confirm that we're working towards the 1.5 degrees Celsius target. So in this context, I wish to provide further clarifications on comments outlined in the President's State of the Nation's address regarding Ghana's effort towards achieving the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal and advancing a fair and inclusive transition for a low-carbon future. Ghana, Mr. Chairman, Ghana's approach. So, Mr. Chairman, how Ghana is aligning the national policies to achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal. Ghana's approach ties action to economic development, energy access, and social equity. Ghana is aligning with the 1.5 degrees Celsius pathway and promoting a fair renewable energy transition. So first and foremost, we are embarking on a national energy transition framework. And this started in 2022, and it's supposed to stretch to 2070. Honorable Chairman, through this framework, Ghana commits to net zero emission by 2070, with the emission peaking by mid-2050 before declining. In reaffirming Ghana's commitment to global climate action, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama reiterated that Ghana's commitment to limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2020. The framework further estimates that implementation of Ghana's energy transition agenda will require approximately $561 billion over the next 5 decades. So, Mr. Chairman, besides the National Energy Transition Framework, we also have a decarbonization of the energy mix and transport sector. The other thing that we have also done is to look at Renewable Energy Master Plan. That's the REMP, and it has been updated in 2025. We have also updated our NDCs. NDCs are our nationally determined contribution, and Article 6 of it talks about how to have voluntary cooperation between countries. That is also supporting the achievement of the 1.5 degrees Celsius. We're also looking at the just transition measures and financing justice, and the regional and international cooperation. And finally, we also supporting policies and implementing programs that will synergize our effort in achieving these objectives. So in giving brief details, Honorable Chairman, Ghana is pursuing a gradual but deliberate decarbonization of its energy mix through increased renewable energy deployment, cleaner fuel alternatives, and diversification of the national energy portfolio. Under the National Energy Transition Framework and related sector policies, government aims to increase modern renewable energy penetration to 10% by 2030. Currently, we're doing around 4%, and the plan is to increase to 10% by 2030. Expand renewable energy generation capacity to approximately 21 gigawatts, or out of an estimated total installed capacity of 83. We also intend to reduce our reliance on high carbon energy sources through the integration of cleaner natural gas technologies. Government is currently updating the Renewable Energy Master Plan, REMP, originally developed in 2019 to reflect emerging climate and energy transition priorities. The review process is being undertaken jointly by the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition and the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology with technical support from the UNDP. A multi-sectoral A multi-sectoral national task force has been constituted to support and update this process.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable,
Honorable Minister.
yeah,
You've given us the entire report.
okay.
What I will do to help all of us is to ask members to look at the report and ask you questions. We'll
Okay.
direct you to the page so that you can speak to it. Let me ask you the first question. Go to page
Okay.
6 of 9.
Page
6 of 9.
6 of 9, okay. 6 of
Have you seen it? Under just transition measures and financing justice.
okay.
The headline. That's what
Just
I'm going to
transition?
ask you that question.
Okay.
Yes, because we all have the report.
Okay.
You will waste your time if you have to read even portions of it to us. You state that President Mahama has consistently emphasized the need for a fair and just transition to renewable energy sources. The first question I'll ask you, what is the meaning of that? What does it entail? Because you say that it requires $9.3 billion to $15.5 billion within a period of 2020 to 2030. So essentially you have 4 years. So what does it entail to the extent that you need between $9.3 billion? That's like our whole budget. And $15.5 billion, our 2-year budget. Can you expatiate what the just and that the fair and just transition for renewable energy entails? Where have you reached with the implementation of that? And 2, why these huge figures?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, this is just a projection because we're saying that we require $9.3 billion by 2030. And it's just a projection. So that is the magnitude of or quantum of resources that is required to be able to transition to achieve this target. Honorable Chairman, you remember that, you realize that about 2 months ago, Cabinet approved for the Ministry of Energy to advertise for the introduction of solar into our generation mix. So, and these are the deliberate plans and deliberate effort that the government is deploying to make sure that we transition systematically to a point. As I said earlier, at the moment we are operating at less than 5% of energy of our generating mix. So these are some of the deliberate activities and plans that the government has taken to ensure that we get this. But this $9.3 billion is just to let us know that this is the quantum, this is the magnitude of resources required to be able to transition to meet these objectives. And it's also captured in our nationally determined contributions. Honorable Chairman, our nationally determined contribution has been fashioned out in such a way that any activities that we are doing is aimed at achieving the 1.5 degrees Celsius target. So all these things are captured in our nationally determined contributions.
Honorable Minister,
Yeah.
thank you very much. So there are estimates. Maybe in future meetings, we will demand what is it that you used to get to that estimate of 9.3 billion to 15.5 billion. It would have helped Ghanaians. But go to page 5 of 9. You will see Renewable Energy Master Plan, update 2025. Honorable Minister, have you seen it? 5 of 9.
Okay. Yeah.
Honorable Minister,
Yeah.
you are saying that the master plan was developed in 2019.
Yeah.
The president did a SONA in February or was it March 2025? I think March or so, 2025. So we are essentially more than a year. In fact, a year and some 3 or 4 months today. No, 3 months today. A team was set up to review the master plan, and you've listed a task force. Where have they reached with that review after 1.5 years?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, at the moment it is being updated because the first update was in 2025, and that led to the establishment of this committee, and currently I have not gotten the updated figures yet, but they are in the process of updating it.
Do you have the 2025 update?
I don't readily have it here, but the 2025 update gave the indication for them to set up this task force, which is working on it now. And all these things are being aligned with government policies and the nationally determined contributions. So, Mr. Chairman, this is an ongoing thing. And every year they look at it and they synchronize it with government plans and policies so that at the end of the day, we are working to achieve what we have signed on to do in our NDCs. So currently, they are still working on it, and I don't have the update.
Okay, honorable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable, we admit that, as you indicated earlier, this is a fresh ministry, and you have just been assigned with that. But looking through your report, I don't see any concrete action geared towards what the president said. Because from everything you are saying, you're talking about we intend to. That's why I earlier stated, prefaced my statement that we know it is a fresh thing, but at least we should have some basic concrete measures. In fact, the president, we are anticipating about 2050. So the president said that from 2030 up to 2050. But as your ministry has come, we want to know what basic things you have put in place, like schools, like, in the communities. What are you doing to at least educate, conscientize? Let us see concrete plans you've put in place. Immediately I got this report, I scanned through. I'm a good reader, so I read fast. And seriously, I'm not seeing any action that you have taken which convinces me that you are doing anything towards projecting that.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Chairman, let me be
Honorable
quick.
Minister.
Yep.
So he wants you to take us through step by step what you people have done so far to achieve the 1.5, the target that you set for yourself, the president set. That's all that he wants you to do.
Honorable Chairman, I said earlier that my role is to coordinate the activities of the individual ministries that are responsible for this. Okay. Now, I realize that when I was invited, I sent a message to the committee that this question should be answered by the minister responsible for environment. Okay. But because I have the capacity to coordinate and these activities in these ministries, I solicited information to be able to advise the committee on what is going on. But let me say that our nationally determined contributions has been updated. Okay? It's in the process of being updated. And all these activities, all these initiatives are in our nationally determined contribution. So, and I said that, first and foremost, what we have done as a country is to look at renewable energy mix. And that is why we have the master plan the REM that I spoke about. I also spoke about the decarbonization of the energy sector, decarbonizing transport, and also looking at what activities that we can do to reduce, reduce the concentration of fossil fuel in our day-to-day function. So I also spoke about the National Energy Transition Framework, which was started in the year 2022 and is supposed to give us the net zero. The net zero is a situation where we're looking at how to ensure that carbon dioxide is reduced to the barest minimum, so that at the end of the day, what the heat that you generate is able to take care of the carbon generation. So a lot of activities have taken place, and that is also embedded in our nationally determined contribution. Mr. Chairman, we have also come up with a climate prosperity plan. The climate prosperity plan speaks to specific issues, speaks to specific initiatives that is going to help government to achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius. Besides that, we are also looking at our taxonomy report, which tells us from sector to sector what exactly we need to do to be able to achieve this. So this achievement is something that every ministry is mindful of, and the details of it is seated in the Environment Ministry, of which is a sector minister who handles that.
Honorable Kukwa, please.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, this is out of what we are doing, is a public interest question, please. So, considering the devastating impact of illegal mining on our forests and water bodies, what assurance can you give this committee that climate adaptation and restoration measures are being integrated into the fight against environmental degradation? That's one. And two.
Honorable, let me answer the first question.
Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, just as the Minister for Agri said this morning, the fight against Galamsey is a concerted effort. One particular minister or ministry cannot provide a whole of solution to it, besides we coordinating and working together. But for me, I think that what we need to do is to deepen collaboration and education. It is important for us to know that, and the people, actors, to know that anything that we are doing, if we are solving problems today, we have to be mindful of what happens tomorrow, okay? So even if we have to mine, we have to do responsible mining. And the Ministry of Lands and Forestry has articulated this, and there's a plan in place to ensure that they put people together in communities, so that in groups, so that they can do community mining, and they will do it in a very responsible way. But the issue of fighting Galamsey is a national canker, and all hands has to be on deck, including, like somebody said this morning, Parliament, the chiefs, and other stakeholders. Everybody has to come on board for us to be able to navigate through this canker. But it is something that people in climate change are interested in, because the environment is degraded, and in the long run, water bodies are polluted. So if you talk about adaptation, adaptation is supposed to be an emergency situation if we have to fight climate change. And I keep saying that locally led adaptation is what we should be promoting. What do I mean by locally led adaptation? Locally led adaptation is adaptation that is restricted to some particular communities, depending on the nature of the degradation or the nature of the hazard that we are faced with. You cannot have a whole of adaptation plan. So for me, as a country, we should be targeting locally led adaptation so that at the end of the day, what solution that you are prescribing will become a bottom-up solution, but not a top-down solution. So engagement with these communities is part of, the way to educate people and get them to know that the hazards of climate change, the hazards of illegal mining, has significant consequences on future generation and our production life cycle.
Yes, honorable member.
All right, thank you. And my second one is climate change is already affecting livelihoods through flooding, coastal erosion, and destruction of natural resources. So what specific assurance can you give this committee that government's climate change interventions are reaching affected communities and producing measurable results? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, we know that the biggest challenge we have in the fight against climate change is financing. Okay, that is why last week when we had this heavy downpour and the flooding, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama came to Parliament, and Parliament graciously approved 350 million Ghana cedis to support the flood victims. So funding is a critical thing. The other thing that my office also did was to get the president to approve for us to set up a climate emergency resource track. That climate emergency resource track is supposed to assist us to mobilize climate financing internationally to support government effort. Now we're doing that under the presidency with his supervision so that at the end of the day, what we're able to generate, His Excellency will be on top of it and will assist us to support flood victims, support in adaptation and mitigation, so that anytime we have these floods, we'll have it in a very minimal way. So our interest has to do with international financing, predominantly. We are not looking at the local, we're looking at international financing. And as of yesterday, I had signed about 50 different proposals, about 50 different proposals that I'm sending to individual funding sources to be able to raise money to support government efforts. Our objective or aim for setting up that track is to target about 100 different institutions, both philanthropic and other organizations that are into climate financing. That is what we are doing to augment, government efforts in minimizing this pain.
Yes, Honorable Salaganu.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. And I would want to indicate that listening to the Honorable Minister, I've come to the conclusion that the ministry is more of a coordinating ministry than some other implementing ministries that we have. What I would want to suggest to the Honorable Minister is to, because if you look at climate change adaptation, it is basically sometimes human attitude, then also the natural causes. And it is the human attitudes and acts that leads to some of the natural occurrences that causes these climate change issues that we have. And it is my belief that if, as a country, we are able to catch our people young to understand climate change issues, it will stick to them better moving towards their adulthood as they grow. And so would you consider looking for resources, because I know most of these things boils down to lack of resources, to be able to engage schools, basic schools, senior high schools, and even at the universities, to be able to engage them, to give them much education about the effects of climate change, so that at least it would, because the mother ministries has a lot to do in other areas. So sometimes they pay little attention to climate change adaptation. And so as a coordinating ministry, will you take it up to be able to ensure that this education of our young ones and also some community stakeholders, is carried out?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, I keep saying that climate change is a behavioral phenomenon, and that is clear. Until we begin to tackle this and ensure that education is effective, community sensitization is effective, we'll be making one step forward and doing 2 steps backward. And we'll think we're in motion, we're not. Okay, so, I mean, it's clear that it's a behavioral phenomenon, and education and community sensitization is key. And you said it head on, because if our education system is tackled in a way, catching people young is something that will inure to our benefit and help us to succeed. Let me be quick to say that when I resumed office, what immediately I did was to ensure that I established a technical working group in my office. Now, the technical working group is made up of people from all sensitive ministries, and they will meet once every month or once every 2 months if we're not able. Okay, so what do? I rally them together for us to have conversation around the sectoral initiatives that they have taken. How do we pull that together into a national conversation for national action? That is what I have done. Now, beyond that, I engage some sensitive ministries, again, like the Education Ministry. I had a meeting with the Director General, and we're looking at how to establish a climate and sustainability unit in the Ministry of Education. So at the moment, we have set up a technical working groups, to look at the modalities. How do we do it? So that at the end of the day, we'll begin to roll it to the, secondary schools. We can have clubs, okay, and all those things. And that is how to catch them young. So it is something that we're championing. Beyond that, even my colleague ministers, I've made them understand that climate change affects everybody. What do we do to ensure that every ministry has a climate and sustainability unit? Once we have a climate and sustainability unit established at all these ministries, they will be responsible for championing climate-related action within their sector. So once we are able to put all these things together, I'm sure we can make some significant progress.
Colleagues, any other question? Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I'm sure the Honorable Minister will agree with me that his ministry has a very critical role to play when it comes to public awareness creation, education, and all those things. And if you agree with me, I want to suggest that we may have to step up our awareness creation. Let's begin to come out with adverts on billboards, jingles. I remember some of the jingles like Akora Okwahin, Hanobe Junso. Like, where are you going to? Is that where you urinate? Is that where you throw away this? If we get even school kids, yes, to come out with such short scripts, then we play them on TV, we play them on radio, we make the awareness to the people. Let's see your ministry come out with some of these things. And then once we are all conscientized and we know that, especially like my colleague said, we start from the basic level, children believe in what they see. Let them play an advert on so and you see the small kids dancing to the music. They are learning from it. Yes. So begin to create some of these things with the school case, like you said, even with the university students on some of the issues, so that we make things practical to the people. If we begin to make such steps work, I think we'll be making a headway. Thank you, Honorable
Let me share my experience. That is where I was also coming from. When I was in the secondary school, I attended secondary school at 12. So 13 years, we had, these Form 5s, we have some seniors who try to bring some juniors on board, teaching them some of those things. But they brought out a competition, essay competition on drug abuse. So I decided to participate. 13 years, I made lots of research into this, cigarettes, etc. And I got to know that it was very dangerous to go into some of these things. So because of that, I purposed learning from that, what I have learned from my research. I purposed never to go near cigarettes and those other things. And that saved me because I was within a group of peers who could have influenced me. So it is good we catch the children young with some of these things to help all of us. Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity.
Honorable Minister, are you aware that you can benefit from carbon credit by reducing the carbon, because it's a budget worldwide? Are you aware of it? And what steps are you taking to ensure that Ghana can get it? I know the last administration, the World Bank, World Bank, I think gave us some $75 million as part of this whole thing. Are you aware of it? And what steps are you making to make sure that we benefit from this?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, you are speaking to Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Article 6 of the Paris Agreement talks about voluntary cooperation between countries. And that whole article is restricted to carbon generation and carbon market. Ghana has already taken a quantum leap and has shown leadership in carbon, in the carbon market. We're all aware that the CMO is Parliament passed that. CMO is under the EPA, and they are championing the generation of carbon credit and the marketing of that. So Ghana has signed on agreement with the Switzerland. We've done that with Sweden. We've done that with a number of countries. So if you look at what is currently the position of this country, in fact, the people from the sub-region are making effort to come and see how we're developing this market. So I'm aware, and I'm somebody who is championing it seriously from the sectoral point of view, because assuming we decarbonize the 24-hour authority, 24-hour market that we are putting up, for instance, if we decarbonize, it gives you opportunity to raise carbon credit for the international market. So there's every opportunity in our development process for us to ensure that we decarbonize every step of our production process to ensure that at the end of the day, we're able to use that to generate carbon credit to sustain our development. Mr. Chairman, recently I had a meeting with the police IGP, and I championed the establishment of a climate unit that will be responsible for crimes associated with climate migration, and also for them to look at opportunities to decarbonize the police service. There are stations across to ensure that, we put solar panels, buy degradable machine, so that at the end of the day, we are able to generate carbon credit from there, to sustain the police service. So, Mr. Chairman, every institution has an opportunity under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement to think outside the box and reduce our dependency on government to ensure that we're able to generate our own money to support government effort. So I'm very much aware of it, and I'm championing it seriously.
Will you take a memorandum to Parliament to champion the disposal of abandoned vehicles that the owners have just abandoned, and they are all packed in these roadside warehouses, garages, in the local parliament, they call them fitters shop and those things. You go, thousands, hundreds are just packed. Tens and hundreds are just packed there, and the owners don't come for them. Meanwhile, they could be crushed to be used as for recycled materials. Will you do that? Because they litter the entire city, everywhere. It's an eyesore, they make it dirty. Everywhere you see, and people, the owners are not interested. And they are standing there and standing there and standing there. For example, when they get corroded and it rains, you know what will happen. And all the difficulties that are associated with the environment. Will you want to look at it?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chairman, it's a laudable idea you are putting across, because they serve as hazards to other road users. And I can say that I will investigate whether my office has the mandate to be able to do that. But because I collaborate with other ministries, it is something that I can take with the sector minister, and we'll see how we can collaborate in that direction. But it is laudable to look at that, so that at the end of the day, we're able to minimize, the hazards that some of these vehicles cause. I mean, they cause to motorists and other environmental, problems that come as a result of that. So I will look at a possibility of sharing this information with the sector minister, and through the collaboration, we should be able to take that on board. But I will investigate it.
So in the present state of the nation, he announced to the world, of course to Ghana and the world, that, and let me quote, we sent you this because you also have it. We have successfully authorized 3 projects that are poised to reduce 5.2 million tons of carbon emission. And Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, he talked about a number of 24 million tons of carbon budget, totaling 64 million tons. But he said that Ghana has successfully authorized 3 projects that is expected to reduce the carbon emissions by 5.2 million tons. That's a lot. Do you know these projects, and where are they located? What are these projects?
No, Honorable Chairman, I don't know that project, and I don't know on what occasion that was said.
Can I give you this? This is the state of nation of the president. That's why we called you. In fact, the entire reason why we called you is because of this.
But there's a specific question that was sent to me, and that is what I responded to. So this one, I need to have access to it to be able to see clearly what we're talking about. But that is different from what was sent to me.
Honorable Minister, I will urge you to look at that. The President has stated he made that commitment to the people of Ghana that they have authorized 3 projects. We want to know whether these projects are completed, where are these projects, and what are these projects meant to? Are they completed or they have been abandoned? We want to really know. I'm just reading from what the President himself said on the State of the Nation, and it would be good if you furnish this committee with that recommendation, because we want to capture it in our report, that this is what the President said. These are where the projects are. This is the stage the projects have reached. And if there's a need to go and visit those projects, we will visit those projects. If you want me to give you a copy of this, I will give you a copy of the State of the Nation so that you can read it for yourself. The clerk, can you make a copy?
Okay, Honorable Chair.
Can you make a copy of this? Give to the Honorable Minister. The second, not second line, second paragraph. If you look at the second paragraph, well, that's where I asked you the question. Have you seen the second paragraph?
Okay.
Are you not familiar with it? This is what the president said.
That's second paragraph. In line with the national. Which one?
That's above what you were trying to read.
Okay. Well, successfully reduced, authorized 3 projects that are poised to reduce 5.2 million tons of. I'm seeing this for the first time, so let me investigate it. Mr. Chairman, like I told you, this information is seated with the Ministry of Environment. Okay? I am just a coordinating office under the presidency to coordinate some of these activities. So I'm able to respond to this because of that coordination role, but the details of it is seated with the Ministry of Environment. So, Mr. Chairman, if it will not be a bother, this question, when it is referred to the Ministry of Environment, the technical people will come and they will assist the committee to get the right information.
Honorable Minister, we thank you, but I say that this is the crux of the whole matter. It's about reducing, if you want to get carbon credit, you have to reduce the emission level. That's basically what it is. And all that you have been talking about renewable energy and all this, is all to come to this PowerPoint, listen. But because the president is specifically mentioned 3 projects, I just wanted to find out where these 3 projects are and what stage they have reached so that we can visit those 3 projects and ascertain that indeed these projects are ongoing, basically. But I heard what you have said.
Oh, okay, but I can check it. I can look for the information. But
Please,
it's important to put it on record that this is the mandate of the Ministry of Environment, and they have the details of it, which when you invite the minister, he can share with the committee.
We will be guided the next time. I thank you. Any other? Honorable Minister, we thank you very much for your cooperation. You sat through, in fact, you came earlier than scheduled, not just earlier than scheduled, you came on time. Because we didn't start earlier with the other minister. Otherwise, you stated that you come at 9:30, and indeed, you came at 9:30. That's very good of you, that you stick to your time. And if you carry that attitude, you'll go very far. I want to thank you for calling upon this committee and for clarifying to us the promises and undertakings that were made by the president. You are the first minister in the history of Ghana to be taken through promises made by the head of state, by the executive. And we are going to start calling other ministers to come and respond to what the president has said. Because at the end of the day, the president speaks. We will not call the president here, but we shall call his representatives, those he has assigned the roles to work. That's what I'm saying, his representatives. So the ministers, the chief executives. So we'll go through his SONA, he will go through his budget, and we'll call each of you to come and educate us, tell us the promises and the undertakings made by His Excellency the President. It will help the government work. It would also help the government take praises. And if you don't work too, it will expose the government. So I want to thank you for giving us your time and your answers. We are very grateful. You are discharged.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, for this opportunity. And I appreciate all the queries that have been raised, and those that we are now able to provide immediate answers. When I go back through my coordination efforts, I will do that. But let me conclude by saying that climate change is a reality, Honorable Chairman. The work that we do, positively or negatively, can contribute to the dangers of climate change. And everybody must show interest in the way we conduct ourselves that has a bearing on how the climate will look like. Honorable Chairman, with your support, let us find a way to ensure that the buildings that we are erecting today are climate resilient. The roads that we are constructing today are climate resilient. Any activity that we do must have a climate dimension to it. That is the way to minimize the shocks of climate change. I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Honorable, even though we have discharged you, you've raised something that I have a lot of interest in. You see, the flooding and the environmental degradation, which we have just raised, is the biggest problem in Ghana today. And not just Accra. People are losing their lives. And I think that you have brought an important point. I am clear in my mind that we must be disciplined in this nation if we are to succeed. You cannot just go to the United States and start building anywhere you want. You go to China and start building anywhere you want. Even in Rwanda, you cannot just go and start building anywhere you want, simply because you have the money, or some chief has sold some land to you, or somebody. Every coast, you can't do that. You must go through all the processes before you start building. Otherwise, we should not have people build on the waterways. We should not see, as human beings or as good citizens, people are dumping filth and gravel into river, the beds of river, and blocking the water, and we allow them because they want to build. And they build. At the end, water enters their houses up to the neck level and kill people. So, Honorable Minister, you have a lot of work to do, and I think that we will all support government to do the right thing, so that we don't have the problems that we are having. Ghana was 6 million people at the time of independence. Today we are 33 million people. And there are more people living than the 33. I'm sure that Ghana has like 35 million people living within, because they are foreigners who are also here. So the population is growing. Accra alone is over 5 million people now, almost the population of Ghana at independence. And you can imagine the next 50 years, what will happen, or 60 years again, what will happen to Accra if we don't plan Accra well. It will mean that we are just planning to fail in the future. So, Honorable Minister, try to liaise with your colleague ministers. You are not supervisor, coordinating ministries. Try to liaise with them. Don't fear politics. Don't fear the effects of politics. If you do the right thing, the people of Ghana will vote for you. So, and make sure that we don't have the problems that we had going forward. So we give you our support. And like I said, we thank you very, very much for calling upon this committee. You have our full support.
Thank you. Honorable Chairman, I want to just make a small proposal to the committee and to Parliament. Like I said, all hands must be on deck if we have to make a significant progress in our fight against climate change. Honorable Chairman, assuming government brings a proposal or a project to Parliament, and you rise up to ask the minister or the sponsors, what is the climate dimension to this project you are bringing for approval? Okay? As soon as you begin to ask that, then you are ensuring that projects that are going to be approved by Parliament must have a climate dimension. And at the end of the day, that is the way to achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius. And that is the way to generate carbon credit. Because any project that is climate compliant has tendencies of generating carbon credit. One, it also has tendencies of giving us cheap financing, blended financing, to support government work. So Parliament being the oversight, of government, can position itself in such a way that any projects that you are approving, you should look at the climate dimension of that project. And that is the way to solve this problem. That is the way we can generate carbon credit to support government activities, and also to ensure that anytime there's flooding, it is minimal. We cannot stop flooding entirely. It is difficult to do that. But at the end of the day, we have to be able to contain it. And we can only contain it if we introduce climate dimension to some of these projects, some of these development projects that we are taking. And Parliament and this committee can play a significant role in that.
Honorable Minister, take a proposal to Cabinet, right? That states that all permits for buildings must state the effect of climate on that project before it is given. So when you take a proposal to, or you ask for permits for buildings and structures and construction, what is the effect on the climate? Is it blocking the waterway? Is it going to add pollution to it? Your activities add pollution to it? You must state it. And the assembly must assess that as part of the reasons why they should give you permit. And if it does, then stop it. 2, today, every cabinet memorandum for project proposal has what we call communication aspect of that proposal. Otherwise, your proposal is not complete. I think that every president now must insist that just not communication, but climate, the effect on climate must be put in every proposal that you bring. So that when you bring the proposal to Parliament, parliamentarians can debate the effect of climate as part of your proposal. So if you say you are going to build a railway line from here to Bimbala, then as part of the climate, as part of the proposal, you must state the effects on climate. So that when the MPs are debating, it will be one of the items that the MPs will debate. Communication, yes, it's not part of it. So climate is also going to be part. Otherwise, trust me, if you make your country and not attractive to live in, nobody will come to your country. Ghana had, especially the middle belt of Ghana was a forest zone. I'm not sure we even have up to 20% of our original forest cover. It's all gone. There's a town in the US called Montreal. It's in California. You can't cut a tree in Montreal without permission. In fact, even if it falls on top of your roof, you can't cut it. I don't know whether you are getting what I'm trying to say. If the tree blocks your path, right, for some reason it falls and blocks your path, you cannot just take a cutlass or a chainsaw and go and cut it off. You can't. Not to talk of a tree that is standing. You must go and report, and the authorities will come and do it on your behalf. In many countries, they are still having lions and they are having tigers and making a lot of money. We have eaten ours. It's all gone. In fact, we have eaten to the extent that we are eating mice. You know, the small, small ones. Lizards, we have virtually eaten everything. So, Honorable Minister, you have a lot of work to do. That's why I will encourage that you partner with your colleagues that agree to enforce all this ban on hunting in July, August, September, during the time that these animals are trying to regenerate the fishes and all the things. Like I said, if you don't partner, then you can't do it. And, you know, if we also politicize these things, we cannot achieve it. So, Honorable Minister, we will discharge you. You have done very well. If we need you again, we'll call you back.
Thank you.
I thank you for calling upon this committee. So, colleagues, we are waiting for the local government minister. He's coming in about 10 minutes. So, you can stretch yourselves for 10 minutes, and then we'll do that. Wait for him.
The volumes of water that comes from that side. I'm not an engineer, but I think it will go a long way to help, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the population has also increased to about 33 million. And some of the systems or infrastructure that was developed has been caught up with our population growth. And it requires some investment from governments to expand the infrastructure of this country to take care of the challenges that we are facing. We as a House, Mr. Speaker, must take the lead in finding solutions to some of these problems. Why do I say so? As a House, we must set up a committee to invite institutions like NADMO, Ghana Meteo, Institution of Engineering, the Fire Service, the National Development Planning Commission, to have an elaborate plan, a national strategic plan to take care of these annual occurrence. It cannot be that when it happens, then we come and make a statement, then government will say, oh, I'm releasing X amount of money, then it becomes topical on the floor for everybody to speak on. What are we doing as a parliament, the people's representative, to bring an end to this canker or problem facing this country? The nation's capital is always underwater when it rains. Our mothers from the markets are always in a rush to go home when they see the clouds form. It cannot be that as a country that we want to develop, we should be running away from rains. We should find a permanent solution, Mr. Speaker. And I'm glad that you, as a professional surveyor, you bring your professional expertise to bear when such a committee is put in place by this House to assist the Ministry of Works and Housing, to assist the Ghana Hydro Authority to bring an end to this challenge that we are facing in this country. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity and give me the permission to step aside to have a word with my students from Okaikwe Central. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Sylvia, do you have answers? Maswell. Okay, let me give you the floor. Probably you may prefer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, and colleague Surveyor. I think in the yes, colleague Surveyor. Colleague Surveyor, yes. In the contribution of our senior member of the House, he made allusion to the Ghana Institute of Surveyors, which I belong to, and also the Ghana Institute of Engineers. I think that we have had elaborate solutions towards some of the problems we face on a daily basis. This year, I decided deliberately not to grant interviews on TV or anything, because we have said these things over and over again. We keep identify the problems we have, the solutions we can offer to this. But it looks like it's a yearly ritual. We talk about it when it's over, then we go back to sleep. And the attitudinal change that we are expecting from people don't happen. Our district assemblies or the municipalities are supposed to perform specific roles which they don't do. Every building you see must have permit. Before you get a permit, you need a site plan. And after the site plan, you need a documentation as to whoever is offering to you. Beyond all that, you need permit from the district assembly to agree that wherever you want to build, whether it's a factory, a church, or a residential dwelling, falls within what we call the zoning permit or the zoning frame. So that if it is a church, you can't build a church just in a residential area. If it is a residential property you want to build, we must see the height of where you intend to build. But before you even go to the assembly, people have built. And sometimes when you come back to build, these same people come and fight with the authorities. And unfortunately, sometimes politicians also help. And the media do not help us any better, because these are the very people who come to also fight those who want to implement the solutions we have. And so it's like a mixed bag. We go in circles, and we come back to this house and talk about these same issues that if we had taken steps to address, we would have gotten some solutions to. Now I hear that the district assemblies are only interested in the revenue they generate from granting these permits. So they don't even visit the site to go and see the condition of the land upon which the person is even going to build. So they sit in the office, they grant the permits, and people go to build. After somewhere, somebody says, you've been transferred from here to another place because you did this or you didn't do that. And it's a problem. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to put away politics. Sometimes as a politician, if you want to speak, these are the very people who vote for you. At the time you go into campaign, you saw their condition, you saw where they are dwelling. You campaign today, they voted for you. Today you say they should go and demolish their building. For instance, in my constituency, people are expecting that as a member of parliament, I should come and lead for properties to be broken. Basically, that is not my work as a member of parliament. It's the district assemblies. But sometimes they want us to get ourselves soiled or involved in some of these things that we are not directly responsible for. We can only advise. We can only speak. But when we don't take our technical people's advice into consideration, and politics override most of the decisions we take. These are some of the solutions we get. But I think that we have spoken enough about these things. I think that we have spoken so long and so loud about these things. Let's allow those who are clothed with authority to be able to take decisions and to make it happen. Let's allow them to speak. Let's be listening to the engineers. Let's be listening to the surveyors. Let's be listening to the planners. Let's be listening to the hydrographers, people who will help us take solutions. Let's sometimes push down the voice of the politicians and allow the technocrats to lead. Unfortunately, they don't even have the confidence they need to be able to execute the things that we have agreed that we should do. Because if a high-powered person comes and she's looking for permit to build maybe a church or something at a place that everybody feels is not right, because the person is a powerful person in society, powers that be, power from above, this or that, before you see he goes to build even without a permit. So sincerely, most of the buildings we see do not have permits. Sometimes we attack the assemblies that they granted permits to people to build where they shouldn't build. Sincerely, most of them don't have permits. So that when you go to build forcefully, you come back and they come and do what they call regularization. The regularization, the person has already gone to build. So when you regularize, you have not solved the problem. Because before the problem can be solved, you should know whether it should be there even in the first place. So I think that we have spoken enough. Let's allow the system to work so that next year we may not have the same solution. Yes, President has released over 350 million for action to be taken. Tomorrow, all of us will be in the drains.
Yes. Professor Nyako.
Colleagues, it's 1 minute now. Honorable Minister, we want you to be sworn in and then introduce yourself and your team, and we can start. So, clerks, do swear the Honorable Minister for Local Government in.
Just two of the mics are okay. Okay. So put yours off. Thank you.
I, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim,
Swear by Almighty God.
swear by the Almighty God
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
Touching the matter in issue.
touching the matter in issue
Shall be the truth.
shall be the truth,
The whole truth.
the whole truth,
And nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God. With all the chair and KO. I'm saying they should give it to so you go to House of Tea.
Honorable Minister, as I said, please do introduce yourself and your team.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm Ibrahim Ahmed, the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and the Member of Parliament for the good people of Bana constituency. I'm here with Madame Deborah Jan and Mr. Befinsia. Madame Deborah Jan is the Human Resource Director at the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. And Mr. Befinsia is the Director for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, under whose jurisdiction the shrines and those things lies. So he's ably accompanying me here. Honorable Chair, the Director, Chief Director himself would have been here, but as we all know, the exercise we are going to do tomorrow, we are preparing a brief, and as I speak to you, he is in the office with the other directors, and they are putting the roadmap together, after which, when we are done from here, we'll go and join them to brief the whole Ghana about how the roadmap and the exercise is going to be done. So I apologize on their behalf. But the three of us are capable of giving any clarification and response that will be demanded from our ministry. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you made 4 assurances to the people to Parliament, that obviously to the people of Ghana, in the first and second quarters of 2025. You are here to to speak to those 4 assurances that you gave. But be informed that members will ask you questions that we term as public interest questions. So when issues about market may not have been here, or even I've seen a question under a market, a member can ask you a question regarding even your 24-hour market.
No problem.
So be rest assured that members will go through some of these things. So I will go to the first question, Honorable Minister. On the 12th of June 2025, more than a year ago, Honorable John Dako, on behalf of Kingsley Ajiman, Ebuakwa South, asked a question. And let me read the question to you. I beg to ask the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs the plans for the Kwao Daso and Kantamatu Wood Village markets that have been destroyed by fire. Honorable Minister, take this committee through what plans, what has happened since these markets were destroyed by fire, what steps have been taken to remedy and to help the people and to rebuild the markets. Take this committee through what you have done so far.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, before me, I also apologize for not appearing yesterday. Yesterday, I was supposed to be here in the morning at 10 a.m. And the presidency also called with the national security that we were supposed to have a national security meeting because of the flood. Yesterday, the same 10 o'clock. So our intention was to come here before going there. But upon superior advice, we were asked to let our directors be waiting here so that we go to the presidency, after which we'll come. By the time we got here around 12 something, the committee had closed, and I had to call you and tell you that this was the problem that we encountered, and that is why we couldn't even come. So thank you, yes, thank you for announcing to the general public that it was not just like we ran away, but we called you, we sought permission from you and told you where we were. And thank you for rescheduling the answer to today. Honorable Speaker, the following actions have so far been undertaken. We have installed 1,370 fire extinguishers across all sections in the Kantamatu market. We have also coordinated and supported Greater Accra Regional Fire Service to train 682 market traders on the market on fire extinguishers. We've also sensitized over 12,000 members on fire safety. Fire Service has also created and operationalized the temporary station at the market and are working with the market security who were engaged by the OR Foundation to undertake daily patrols on the market. Regarding smoke detectors, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly plans to install them as part of their infrastructure upgrade, as they are most effective in enclosed areas. Additionally, fireballs may also be installed in high-risk zones once the Electricity Company of Ghana, and that's ECG, connect the market to the grid. Honorable Chair, currently the installation of the smoke detectors is on hold. ECG operational delays has affected businesses in the market and also stalled progress. Thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable Minister, there were just, for this question, just 2 assurances. First, that you would install or incorporate safety features such as the fire extinguishers and smoke detectors. You are telling this community that the fire extinguishers, 1,200 have been installed. Is it in the 2 markets or just only Kantamatu?
Honorable Chair, the installation is of the fire extinguisher is across all sections in the Kantamatu market, and that is what I've been briefed.
What about the Kwao Daso one? There were 2 the wood markets, Kantamanto and Kwadaso. In fact, yeah, Kwadaso and Kantamanto. That's what the questioner asks, the wood villages. You have done the Kantamanto one. What about the Kwadaso one? Check the question. It was both Kantamanto and Kwadaso wood village markets.
Honorable Chair, I don't want to conjecture, but for the Kwadaso one, I'll have to go and come back on the answer I was given, and the work that was done was on the Accra Metropolitan Tomato Market in Greater.
You say 1,002.
1,200. 1,370 fire extinguishers.
Honorable Minister, check and let's know whether the Kwadaso one, they had installed it. The public is listening, so if you say
that is why,
else,
Mr. Chair, I wouldn't want to comment on it so long as I have no written answer concerning the Kwadaso one on that.
Honorable Minister, you say that up to now, the smoke detectors have not been installed. What is the actual reason why you haven't installed the smoke detectors?
Honorable Chair, like I said, regarding the fire smoke detectors, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly plans to install them as part of their infrastructure upgrade. But as most of them are most effective in enclosed areas. But as I said, currently, the installation of the smoke detector is on hold because of ECG operational delays. And you know, that one will have to come from the Ministry of Energy. So unless we collaborate for us to know when ECG will remove all the impediments from our way for us to be able to go. But that is also a private company.
Do you intend to install sprinklers as part of it? Because as we see today, there's no leeway for fire service trucks and water bowsers to move in.
Honorable Chair, it's an area, even today I had discussion with the Chief Fire Officer. You know, fire service is mostly trained in terms of fighting fire, but the market managers and some of those people sometimes always create theft. It is a theft area that they also want to be controlling. So the agreement was that we'll have to engage both the fire managers together with the fire service leadership to be able to know how best we can do this. And that discussion took place today, and there's an action to be taken.
Okay, so honorable colleagues who want to do follow-up questions. Yes, Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much, and welcome, Honorable Minister. I want to find out, it's been a year since these fires. Have you been able to ascertain the cause? Because that should inform some of the measures you intend to put in place. Your measures are applaudable, but we need to know what caused the main fires so that moving forward, we can also assist in educating our people on how to prevent fires. Because this is it's across the whole nation. It's not just peculiar to this market. We hear of markets catching fires every now and then. So what was the cause in these two specific cases? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, that was the initial question, and that was the answer I gave. That after the fire incident, AMA in collaboration with the stakeholders cleared the affected area to ascertain the extent of the damage and to ensure safety of those who were in that area. And that they are in collaboration on the fire service intended to bring or incorporate fire safety measures and to reconstruct the market. This was the answer that was given. But the actual causes will have to be a substantive question, which the fire service will have to give to me. Because sometimes not all the security issues are disclosed to the general public. But once this is a public interest question, there must be a public interest request for the answer to be given.
For me, I'm not satisfied with this answer you have given.
Honorable Chair, like as
yes, honorable member.
Yeah, thank
After
you very
that,
much.
we'll come to the ranking member.
Okay, Honorable Chair, looking at the answer that was given and relative to the assurances that was made, it's like the fire safety equipments were going to be part of the reconstruction. What I want to find out is what is the status of the reconstruction? Whether there has been, what level has that, reached for us to be able to be assured that there are installations of these fire extinguishers and awaiting fire, the fire alarm instruments. Then also to find out what has been done by the local government ministry to be able to support the women who were affected by these fires. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, this is within the jurisdiction of AMA, and I knew together with the MP, some kind of support was given. But in Parliament, when you don't have the specifics, don't talk. How much was involved in it, I may not be able to tell you, in order to raise the doubt about who got what and who did not get. But if the question specifically, the substantive question has been, what other effort and what other relief items support has been given, I would have come with distribution list and beneficiaries who receive what. But so long as strictly since so, it didn't happen under the ministry's budget, where I would have come with a distribution list. This one also demand for a further request from the AMA, who got what, how much was involved, and what went into it, because it's partly development and political, and I wouldn't want to blaspheme somebody or blackmail somebody. So I will also request...
Honorable Minister, so the assurance that was teased from this question is that you did say that you incorporate fire safety features as well as smoke detectors as part of the reconstructed sections of the market. All the honorable member, as part of his question, he wants to find out what is the state, which state have we reached? Where have we reached with the reconstruction? Is it 100% complete?
The Chair, it may not be 100% because it is the stakeholders themselves, mostly who were doing the reconstruction for doubt on the part of government, where they did, most of them, some of them didn't want government himself to even come in. And you know what goes into this. Government effort in going there is always misconstrued that government wants to take over, or government interest in going there is sometimes misconstrued that if we allow you to do it, we may not be the end beneficiary. And these are some of the problems. So when the moment it got bent, they go to the timber maker, go and buy their own wood, and then next day you see them reconstruction. How will you be able to measure some of this? So government effort is to avert the safety, any eventuality that may come in future. But it wasn't like a holistic contract that we are going to do. And that is why I was saying that regarding the Kwadasu one, also give me time, simply because I also received some concerns from the Honorable MP and the Interior Minister, which I was somehow the mediator, which I was not able to finalize. So some of those questions, sometimes before something you are doing you've not finalized, is sometimes difficult to come to conclusion on it. So the people themselves are doing the erections. It wasn't government, it was some kind of support being given to them. But they did not want government. If government itself was to go and do it, would have been awarded on contract, procured. So, and you know those things, politically, what it intends to bring. And that is why I'm unable to give you the progress, whether it's 100% complete or not, because it's private sector driven.
Yes, Honorable Rankin.
Honorable Minister, thank you. Regarding the assurance that you made for the installation of smoke detectors and other things, we all know that fire service falls under the Ministry of Interior. What is the collaboration between your ministry and the Ministry of Interior as far as the activities of fire service, the incorporation of fire service into the markets? What's the collaboration between your ministry and the Ministry of Interior to ensure that you'll be able to get these things in place in the market?
Honorable Chair, you know that thankfully the Interior Minister was my former boss, and the telepathy between the two of us was very deep. And that is why, even with that thing today, I could speak to the Chief Fire Officer and said, oh, let's talk to your brother and see how those things are going to be done. So the collaboration is very strong, if not excellent.
I'm talking relative to this market issue that I'm talking about.
Not only in relation to this market, but just that I didn't want to go outside on it. The Interior Minister and the Fire Service, because of the kind of fire outbreaks that we used to be getting, they themselves have been very proactive, not only on this, but in other markets. But because the question was restricted to this and what has been done to this, I did not buy the smoke detectors and all those kind of things. But I'm telling you the progress of work that is being done by the Fire Service Ministry, which is under the Interior Ministry.
Honorable Minister, we'll finish all the questions and markets generally, because the rest are very, very short questions. You will take less than 10 minutes to finish them. Your main issue will be markets across the country. You know how people cherish markets. You are awarding, not you, the government has awarded contracts under the 24-hour markets. Can you take us through how many have you awarded so far? What is the scope of work in terms of completion time? I'm not looking at the drawings. I'm just asking, when do you think that market women will be expected to move into any of the markets?
Honorable Chair, thank you very much. We intend to build 261 markets, one in every district. 261. We have 261 districts, and we intend to build 261, one in every district. So even though I'm the local government minister, my district is to build one. Bemela is to build one. And Honorable Chair, even we caught salt in Bemela. So thing happened in Bemela, which is your district, so I know you are well versed in this. But the truth is that the construction period is supposed to be 36 months. But we've asked the contractors that at least government does not have 36 months to be in office. So the completion period should be at least, even though you have 36 months, but we want you to be able to build it within 18 to 24 months. Because we want to commission them before the period, the contract Ghanaians sign with us expires.
Honorable Minister, so technically it's 36 months, but that's 3 years. But you want to see whether you can finish them within 1.5 years to 2 years.
18 to 24.
That's 1.5 years.
1.5 to 2 years.
Honorable Minister, can you take us through the categories of markets that you have? Are they the same across the whole country, or there are some that are bigger, there are some that are smaller? Can you take us through?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, should I start from the genesis to the... Thank you very much. We intended to build at least, we are going around the country, what we see, we didn't like it. And almost all our prime lines were being overtaken by the foreign multinational corporations and other foreign companies. So the Ghanaian businesswomen were kicked out. When you and I were in Parliament from 2005, and the Nigerian banks came to Ghana, and the indigenous banks were also established. what used to be done was that you'll be in your house and they'll be knocking your door that come for loan to go and do business. Our women were going to Guangzhou to bring things to go and come and sell. Some were going to South Africa to bring things to come and sell. Mr. Chairman, as I speak to you, those who used to go to China to bring items have all been kicked out. Those who used to go to Nigeria, kick out. Those who used to go to other countries, kick out. So, and you go to the only private places where businesses are, like Konkrompe and other places. Even those who were selling spare parts there, most of them are kicked out. But we didn't study the root causes of why this thing was happening. Unfortunately for us, the kind of market that used to be done from 2008 up to 2016 were also abandoned. So clearly, apart from Kaneshie Market, then Kotograba Market, which Kaneshie Market was built before the Fourth Republic. Then when you go around, there are no serious markets in the country. Everything is private sector. So the Nigerians bring their money and they go to Kaneshie, Konkrompe, they go to Abosokai, they see the landowners. They can pay more than the Ghanaian man can pay because most of the indigenous banks have collapsed. So it's like, it's part of the unemployment situation that you see in most districts. But we cannot sit down, Honorable Chair, saying that somebody will come and solve it. And the kind of markets the assemblies were still building was the wooden structure, the shares. And that is why Kantamatu and Kwadasu that I'm being asked now, they were all shares. They will get bent, then they will go to timber market, go and buy wood, come and construct. So we saw the need that if the president wants to construct 24-hour market, you can't go and construct shares that they should work 24 hours. So, Honorable Chair, what we did was that when we saw this problem, we said, how can we solve it? Well, you go to Spinters Road, you see China malls. You go to Ofanko Amasamine, China malls. Almost all the prime lands, China malls. And you go to ShopRite, Stanbic, South Africa. You go to other shopping malls, South Africa, Stanbic Bank. By Honorable Chair, Unibank is no more. Sovereign Bank is no more. First Capital Bank is no more. The indigenous bank that used to give you and I, our sisters and our constituents, money to go and do business are no more. So clearly unemployment is on the increase. How do you solve it? At least there must be a befitting place in every district. And if you allow the private sector to go and build it, if you go to Domi Market, there are stores there, but the market women cannot go into them because they don't have the high capital to go and pay the rent. Honorable Chair, how do you do? The state must come in. The China malls and the market that you see are state-partnered businesses. The China government gives them money. They go to the China bank for loans. ShopRite, South Africa, the Stanbic Bank gives them money, loans. They go to the other place for loans. But in Ghana here, that opportunity is no more. So the state must create those befitting places and at a minimal cost where our sisters and mothers can go and do business. Honorable Chair, that is the first thing. 2, it will do away with unemployment. 3, because we are doing it, we have 4 models. Model 1, Model 2, Model 3, Model 4. Model 1 because not all the districts have the same economic viability. And therefore, what will work in Accra Metropolitan may not work in my constituency. What may work in Bimbilla may not work in Tamale Central. So you could see that we needed market experts' advice to come and tell us, not political market. So what we did was we engaged consultants, go around and do market survey and come and tell us what kind of market does our people want? What will fit our problem? Then the president said he's doing 24-hour market, 24-hour. We needed the 24-hour to go together with the market. How do you do it? You said you recruit fire services to be working in the market. Mr. Chairman, the market fire you always see, what time do they happen? It's in the night. So assuming there was a fire post in the market where fire officers are working in the night when they are patrolling the place, nobody can come and set fire there. Mr. Chair, the other problem is security. If you say you are going to do business in the night, there must be security, so that even daytime people are stealing people. So if there is no police station, it will be a problem. So the market model you are designing for us, make sure there is a police station. Then sometimes when you are traveling in the night, you get to the highway, almost all the workers are gone. So most places on the highway, like in Koko, make sure there is a filling station and there is a vulcanizer station, so that when I'm coming from Bana and I go to Koko, then if I have a flat tire, there's a vulcanizer that said, if I'm able to get to this place, somebody will fix it for me. If it is fuel, when you get there, there's a filling station attached. So the market are designed with both national and local knowledge and geographical needs. These needs assessments were all done. Then, Mr. Chairman, sometimes when you are sick, you go to some districts. I don't know of Bemila. Hardly will you see a district hospital or a pharmacy. So, man district like this in Bana, there is no pharmacy. All you see is over-the-counter drug chemical sellers. So the market you are going to build must include a pharmacy shop. Pharmacies work 24/7, but for lack of security, sometimes they close early. So include a pharmacy shop in it. Honorable Chair, our mothers sometimes they will be in the market. Government is practicing what we call primary health care. But for a market woman to leave the shed or the shop to go to market, to go to the hospital or the clinic for a checkup, they don't do. So you see there sometimes what we hear is, oh, mommy, this woman came here, we were here with him. He was not sick. All of a sudden he has collapsed, he's dead, and there is a funeral to be done. So in that market, include a clinic so that the market women who come there will have access to that. Honorable Chair, not only that, sometimes a market woman may be a woman with a child of young age. By the time they will spend to go to the crèche before coming to the market may be time consuming. So include a crèche in that market. Honorable Chair, sometimes our women, because of makeup, to close the shop and go to the salon is a problem. Include a salon. Honorable Chair, sometimes even to get meat and come and prepare food for us, not all the market have the capacity to be able to include cold stores and those things. So include a cold store in the market that you are doing. Beyond that, you don't come to the market and go somewhere, most places there is no abattoir. Make sure there is a butcher shop in the market. So it's a one-stop shop. Not only that, sometimes the kind of culture we have, our market, you can't go and be selling Kobe and Momoni. Or you want Momoni, you go there. You want Kobe, you go there. If you want pizza, there's where you go. You want canned food, there's where you go. So you want to shower. Sometimes, Honorable Chair, when we go to offices with our sisters, after the work, you will see them, they are doing makeup before they go. Create the same opportunity for the market woman. So we have created showers, we have created water closet, we have created changing rooms, and sometimes, I don't come from Bimila, but in the Eastern Corridor, you could see that it is Bimila is the most strategic market area where people converge. Honorable Chair, some may come from far away. When they come with their wares and they are not able to be sold in the night. Some people sometimes make a strategy to cheat our market women. They will wait, the items you have brought, they know you don't stay in that community. When it is getting to 5 to 6, they know you can't send them back to where you came from. Then they will come to you. Oh, if you reduce it to this much, I'll buy it. We call it reduce to clear. In order to take our women from that problem and hardship, we are including warehouses. If you bring the items and they are not bought, you send them to the warehouse. The next day, you are still there. We are empowering both the consumer and the supplier. It's a win-win strategy. They know you send them to the warehouse. What about you yourself? We are including about 6-room guest house or 4-bedroom guest house in the market. So when you send the items to the market, to the warehouse, you have a place to go and sell. You don't come from there. What will you eat? We are including a restaurant and a chop bar. So depending on your class, if you're a restaurant person, you go there. If you're a chop bar person like Honorable Chair, you and I, you go to the chop bar, where there's bushmeat, there's abnabu, and all those kind of things.
Honorable Mr. Go, continue.
Honorable Chair, so there's chop bar and there's a restaurant. Sometimes cutting the items from the lorry station to the market is a challenge. We are including a lorry terminal so that when you come, the place where the big trucks will be there, will park for you to offload your items to the warehouse are there. Then the trotro station and the other cars or vehicles that will be transporting the market women are also there. Honorable Chair, not only that, we are doing this in such a way that will bring, because we will be running 24/7, there is a generator and there is a solar installation. We are arranging that once you build it, in order not to be able to rely on the national, so that the national grid may be on and off, you have to bring a generator. The generator must be there and it's for all of them. We also make sure that once it is done, we have to include solar panels. China Bank. The Indians are doing with Africa, First something bank. The South Africans are doing with Stanbic Bank. The Nigerians are doing with Access Bank and GM Bank and UBA Bank. By Ghana, our private indigenous banks are for collapse. So the Women's Bank that the president promised, there must be a banking hall in the market where the Women's Bank will establish a branch. So our mothers and sisters who don't have enough capital, when you sell, you are not going to carry your money to a house for somebody to go and kidnap you on the way and take it. You sell, you go to the Women's Bank in the market, you cash your money, you deposit your money, then you go home. And if items come, because and you are credit worthy, you go to that bank that, oh, our sisters don't need too much money. And if you leave them at the mercy of this profit-oriented, well, that is where the term Owobosia came from. So we want to do this so that there will be a banking hall in all the 261 markets. Honorable Chair, not only that, this is doable because Parkwesindum, areas where even NIB didn't want to go, Commercial Bank didn't want to go, Agri Development Bank, which is a farming bank, didn't want to go. If Parkwesindum First National Capital Bank was able to establish one single room bank in almost every district capital, why shouldn't we be able to do? So it's like we are replicating all those kind of things. But Honorable Chair, the market fires you are calling us, you know there's a building regulations law that you and I assisted in passing in this room. What has become out of it? If you go to most of these markets, do we take into consideration? So we have to make sure that the items and the wiring, the cables that are going to be used for the wiring and all those things must be of standard. So there is so much that we are doing in common. And this combination of all this is what we call the 24-hour market. The models are 4. So depending on your capacity, you have whatever you need. Then in the circle, inner circle, there is what we call market shares. So just as they were used to erecting their own wooden shares and doing businesses in them, we are collaborating that system together with the shopping mall and that. So on number 10, these and many other things are things we want to do. But after the construction is done, the Interior Minister will now have to, because we were promised that more fire officers will be recruited, more police will be recruited. You now have to recruit those who can be able to work in those areas. Honorable Chair, if you go to any village, you go to Bimila, the one who is a thief, they know. The one who is not a thief, they know. But if you nationalize recruitment of police officers, the Bimila thief will come and appear before me and speak good English. I may not be able to recognize that. I'll say, well done. You are very eloquent in the language. You are a police officer. He will be a thief in uniform. We will want to avoid this. So we've discussed with the Interior Minister that we are doing the construction, but once we are done, you must make sure that there's a special recruitment so that those who will be doing the market surveillance, whether fire or police in Bimila, Honorable Chair, the local people will know them. Those who will be doing it in Afram Plains, the local people will know them. So these and many other things is a very laudable idea, and it is worth pursuing. So this is the combination of the market, Model 1, Model 2, Model 4. Model 1 for a district, Model 2 for a municipal, Model 3 for a municipal but economically very viable, which is close to metro, and Model 4 for a metropolitan, which have the economic viability, the population, the financial resource, and all other things. So that is the structure. So every shop, because I didn't know that's the nature of the question, I would have brought the actual specific, the number of shops in Model 1, number of shares in Model 1, number of shops in Model 2, number of shares in Model 2. The shops are not the same. The quantity vary. The sizes of the warehouses are not the same. The quantity vary, because what will work for Kwadaso, if you send it to Bana, it may not work for me. So depending on your capacity, this is biblical, to each according to his ability. But Honorable Chair, I did not choose for them. The consultants were recruited to redesign the structures and bring it. There were 16 consultants. From April 2024, it took them 6 months before they were able to count out. You will count out all the items I've mentioned. You will come out with a prototype design. How the story I have given, how will you come with a market concept that will satisfy what I'm saying? So when you bring it, all the system with all the directors and the engineers will be in a room. Then Mr. Chairman will critique yours. So your colleague, consultant or engineer will ask you questions. This is your design. How will he cater for this or cater for that? Then when you finish, then he also bring his design. Then you also critique his design. We did that for 6 months. After which we came out. Then they took the designs, went to the market, and did some market survey and interviews, just to get the will-be beneficiaries, their input into what was going to happen. So it wasn't like me. And when you go to a place like my constituency, I'm from the district capital, but the district capital is not economically viable. The commercial capital in the district is the next big town. So don't say because the minister is from the district capital, the market must be in the district capital. You bring your technical advice, and that will be. So when you go to the Bana district, the market is not at Bana Hinkru, which is the district capital. The market is at the commercial capital in the district, which is Bana Bongasi. But I didn't want a situation whereby a leader will fail. We cited factories and companies far away from raw materials because politicians were coming from the far away places. How many of them survived? From First Republic to the Fourth Republic, most of them have collapsed and privatized. Some are being used as churches. I didn't want to be a victim of that. So the power was given to go do the research, surveillance in the district, together with the DCE and the opinion leaders, and go and choose where will be economically viable.
Honorable Minister, thank you. Thank you very much. But just the last one on this particular one, then we'll go to the next question. Honorable Minister, so in all this, how will you make the people work 24 hours?
Honorable Chair, if you go to the market, the police station there will work 24 hours. Anytime there's something, you go there 24 hours to work. The fire station there will work 24 hours. The pharmacy shop there will work 24 hours. The ATM station and the bank will work 24/7. The security guards patrolling the market will work 24/7. The energy office in the place will work 24/7. The warehouse will work 24/7. The filling station and the vulcanizer shop will work 24/7. The other, most things will work 24/7. So it is not like all shop is compulsory, all shop must open. But the essence of governance and leadership is to create the system and the structure. And the private sector will fill it with you. Honorable Chair, you remember one village, one dam, and one district, one factory. They were private sector driven, but they were facilitated by the government, the public. So this one, the private sector will come in, but the public must facilitate. So we are facilitators.
Minister, I thank you very much, but I still want to know, that market woman, and you who is a consumer like me, I want to do light soup in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. How are you going to convince that market woman to stay so that I can buy pepper from her at 2 a.m.? That's what I'm asking.
Honorable Chair, you yourself, you know in Bimbilla they don't sleep. And that's why strategically the market is sited there. You know.
You keep using Bimbilla. What about those where they sleep? What about where they sleep? What about where they sleep?
The good thing is that, in fact, when I went to Bimbilla, I loved the place. I didn't know Bimbilla until the day they said, oh, if we have done with Tamale Central, let's go to Bimbilla. And Honorable Chair, I've fallen in love with your place. That's why I keep on citing it. And I know the people are good because you are good. And you are not just good, you were my boss who trained me. So I fell in love with the people. And that is why I keep on using Bimbilla. But my place, strategically, my district capital, where I come from, didn't qualify. And learning political development history of Ghana, I didn't want to force or fall victim of what the earlier politicians had done. We wanted technical advice for the first time and see what that will work. Honorable Chair, all the people there may not work for 24/7. But that does not mean the market is not working for 24/7. Even in the daytime, if you go to Makola, there is a shop, as I speak to you, that is closed. The owner is not working today. So it is not just like, oh, we are establishing a market compulsorily. Make sure you don't close it. That is not. But we are creating all the scenario I've given you. You agree with me that it's a laudable idea. And if leadership provide this kind of service, Honorable Chair, the situation is more pathetic than you and I are seeing. If you come to Greater Accra, the unemployment you are seeing now, the kind of suffering your MPs go through, you marvel. Simply because if you go to Addis Ababa or go to Dubai or go to any of the airport that come, you see the influx of people into the country, but they come with the capital. Our mothers don't have it. If we don't start now, we may not be able to solve that problem. But if we start it and make it very nice, every district there's a city center. Previously, we used to call them 18 or Market Square, where people don't sleep. They were created by the earlier leaders. Today, you and I, it is our time. What are we creating? And that is why this concept is worth practicing. So clearly, when we went to Tamale Central, in the Tamale South metropolitan area, where the Honorable Haruna Idrisu chose, together with DCE and the consultant, there were some shares there. All those shares were broken down because they saw the design. And you know, it's a metropolitan area. So for the first time, they have chosen the metropolitan. And the kind of structure, the place, it is a city center. So if you add the security on Abuche, there's nowhere they are going to sleep. Then you go to Bole Bamoy, where the President Mahama comes from. He himself took the lead, went there to demolish the NDC party office, because that was located at the city center. Demolish his brother's shop. Demolish the 31st December office. Demolish the other structure that were there. So it is in city center. And you know Bole Bamoy is on the Western Corridor Road. It is just like the Eastern, just as Bimela is in the Eastern Corridor, Bole Bamoy is in the Western Corridor. And strategically, Honorable Chair, I know out of the 261, if we are able to do those things very well, majority of them, even if your shop is there, the demand will be created in such a way that when it is night, it will be like you are in job 600. If it is night and you are there, you forget that it is night. Before you realize it is night.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, you know this.
I know, but Honorable Minister, I asked you this question because the two busiest markets in Ghana, KJT and Kantmanto, on the 5th of July, I think that was on Sunday, yeah, I decided to take my son to Tudu area, Accra, because I wanted him to see life beyond 1 a.m., see people sleeping on the street. Because unfortunately, some of them think that the life is sitting in a car and this. So I wanted him to go and see. So when I said, you see somebody sleeping here? You see somebody sleeping here? Some people cannot even get food to eat. So if you get food to eat, you must be thankful to God. And you have to work hard. Because maybe today I'm here, tomorrow I'm not there. By the time we got to Makwala, it was closed. There was no single soul. We just drove past there. Because I thought people were there. I wanted him to see how people are selling in the night to be able to survive and get food to eat. So that he will begin to learn. And it was cool. That's why I asked you that question, that how will you get people to work? If Makwala itself, they are not even doing 24, how will you motivate them? That's the reason I asked that question.
Honorable Chair, you know the designs have given you. Do you see them in Makwala? So that is the answer.
All right, thank you very much. Colleagues, you have a question on this? Otherwise, I will go to the next question. So, Honorable Minister, we'll go to the next question. It's a very simple question. It was asked by Ernest Yao Enim Kumeu, and he asked, Mr. Speaker, I beg to ask the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, when work will resume on the abandoned Astro theft at Budumasi in the Kumawu constituency? It's a very specific question.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, Honorable Chair, you know the District Assembly Common Fund report to you and the Chief of Staff. But I will answer this question. Because I answered it and give the assurance. The administrator of District Assembly Common Fund released an amount of 500,000 Ghana cedis as part payment for the continuation of the project. And the said amount was released through the account of Honorable Member of Parliament. The Honorable Chief Executive and management of the Assembly have met to deliberate on getting the contractor to return to site and complete the project. Consequently, the government has requested all MMDAs to prioritize all ongoing and abandoned projects within the district and apply percentages of the legacy component of the DACF allocation to ensure the completion of such projects. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Has the contractor returned to site yet?
Honorable Chair, the Assembly management are yet to finish their meeting and get back to me. And the money was released to the MP. So they will do these things together. But I spoke to the MP. But as at the update as to whether he has gone back to site, that one, as I sit here now, I may be lying. But I will inquire from the Honorable Member of Parliament because I had one-on-one discussion with him that we'll see that it will come. It is not the only AstroTurf, but because of his effort and the way he approached us on this, that's why we are selecting those that we can do with now. But the money may not be enough. That's why I said they don't report completely to me. 500,000 for an AstroTurf is highly negligible.
So these are the projects that are being funded by the District Assembly Common Fund, not all AstroTurf, is that it?
No, Honorable Chair, you see, there's a slight problem here. The AstroTurf, because of the pressure the youth were putting on politicians, the AstroTurf were not well structured. Ghana Gas was constructing AstroTurf, some without the consent of the MPs and the DCEs. A CEO may come from your constituency. So you go and arrange with GMPC. All of you will be here. Then they will go, they are constructing AstroTurf. Sports Ministry is not aware. Member of Parliament is not aware. Ghana Gas may also be constructing AstroTurf. Then the DACF may also be constructing AstroTurf. About five or six entities were constructing AstroTurf. But the worrying aspect, if you don't know how to approach it and you approach it, it may become a political issue. So I discussed with the Minister for Youth and Sport that, look, I don't fight for positions. AstroTurf is a sports facility. It falls within the Ministry of Sports and Recreation. So as Minister for Local Government, even if I had money or we had money to do AstroTurf, the expertise in AstroTurf, a person with that expertise is Minister of Youth and Sports. It's a matter of liaising with them, but most of all those things were not without the notice of the Minister for Youth and Sports. Some chiefs are also saying that I gave you land to do it, so the process, let's share it 60-40. And some individuals have also taken ownership of those facilities, even though it was government money that was used to do it. So it's a discussion we did, whether GMPC, whether Ghana Gas, whether Bui Power Authority, whether DACF. DACF itself, just at the peak of the campaign, awarded about 20. After the campaign, some took mobilization and never went to site. And some went to site and not major work was done. But we don't want to abandon them because they are all, once a contract has been awarded, it must be executed. So that is why we said, let's iron them out and know the number of them. Some MPs have also approached me. And Honorable Chair, you know, it's not, you and I, we were in leadership. Our duty is to make sure sometimes you speak to MPs and make sure how you are able to. So they come, when you tell them the truth, they realize that you were right. Some, an entity like GMPC gives some, the money is finished, the job is not done, completed. And they are blaming the MP for it. And the DC, some of those things, so if you want to bring the entire thing, unless you do individual audit, you can't just use one straight jacket for all of them. And that is why when they asked me on specific thing, for this particular one, it was the administrator of District Assembly Common Fund. That is why the administrator is continuing it. But you know the CEOs were all changed. GMPC is a new CEO. Ghana Gas is a new CEO. Bui Power Authority is a new CEO. VRA is a new CEO. Electricity Corporation. These were the entities that were doing the Astro Teso. So clearly, Honorable Chair, it's a problem. And that's why I don't want, if you don't have the details, you don't speak
Honorable
to it.
Minister, I'll read the last question, and then members will ask, and then you can go.
Okay,
we are going to give you another 10 minutes more, and then we'll invite the Health Minister.
Okay, sir.
Honorable Minister, Professor Kingsley Nyako asked you on the 30th of October 2025. He said he's begging the Speaker to ask the Minister for Local Government and Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs the total number of shrines in the country and the number of them that are registered. How many shrines do we have in Ghana now? How many have been registered? And you assured this house that you'll come back. So we are here to ask you, how many shrines are in Ghana? You have gone to check all the shrines and those that have been registered. So let us know. Inform the country how many shrines that we have, and those that have been registered legally, and those that have not been registered. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Leader. Honorable Chair, the Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs has set up a working group comprising officers from the Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, policy, planning, monitoring and evaluation, research, statistics and information management, directories, to create the database on shrines and other religious sites in the country. The exercise will be supported by the various regional coordinating councils. And Honorable Chair, this is simply because a shrine is not just one thing. Even as we sit here, if I want to count shrine, I need to be given the power. When I see you, I'll remove your shirt and know and check you and do body and do body check. So clearly, it is not simple and straightforward. But when Dr. Kingsley Nyako asked it, it was misconstrued. People thought it was a jovial, something jovial, but it is a very sensitive, delicate, and important question. Simply because you go to certain communities, somebody will come there and say he has a shrine and may begin to be doing things. That is another form of a religion, but we are in charge of religion. So he said, Minister, don't you know, or don't you think that you need to know records of mosque, churches, and the traditional African religion, as well as the shrines that we have in this country? This is the way we discuss it. When he asked the question, I came to approach him. So you could see that he has a good mindset. But the nature of shrines will have to be agreed on. That is why a committee with a multi-sectoral committee with expertise has been put in place. But a shrine can be a pen. It can be a photo, a picture. It can be anything. And these are spiritual issues. The lawyers may disagree with you. So we need to have a very firm foundation as to what a shrine is. Are we believing that it is only where a shrine that is house, or a shrine that is in the outskirts of the town, or a shrine that is in somebody's pocket, or a shrine that somebody wear before they wear their singlets? And even Parliament, we may need to agree that the question I ask, because if you make it so vague, we may not be able to do.
Honorable Minister, he asks you, are in Ghana, you should be, as minister, you should be able to have an answer. And yes, I'm coming, but you should be able to have an answer. That in 2025, we had this number of churches, we have this number of shrines, and then the Muslim sects, we have at least I know 3 different groups. We have the Sunnis, we have Tijaniya, we have the Al-Sunnah. So we have the Shia. We are not asking the number of mosques, but we're asking the number. Then for the Catholics, you have Methodists, you have Presbyterian, you have this. Then you have the Charismatics. Virtually everybody will establish a church in his house and fill it with worshippers. So you have to count him. So you could have 10,000, you have 20,000. It's the same thing people are saying. When you go to every community, you have what we call the juju man. That's what he is asking. Yes. Where you will go and people will go and consult. People will go and consult. Not soothsayers. Soothsayers are different. No, I'm coming. People go and consult them and pay money to them. They do sacrifices and they tell you what it is. Soothsayers are different. That's why he's asking that the shrines that you have. So you go to different places, you have shrines. We have the traditional shrines. For you to be able to distinguish, we have the traditional shrines of every tribe. And every family, they have their traditional shrines that are there, headed by the Tindana, the landowners, and they do the sacrifice. Then you have the Atigali, the Grumadier, you have the different ones. That's what he's asking you, that how many are in the country. So you go to Togo Hills, you go to that hill, how many are there? Because people worship them, people believe them. Some drama, you see people being possessed. So he's asking you, how many are in Ghana? You are the minister in charge of all these people. How many are in Ghana? That's what he's asking.
The chairman, to simplify the matter to you, there was a fetish priest who was going to perform. And he has plenty shrines. He put all the shrines in a jute sack and boarded a commercial vehicle. So when they were going, not knowing, somebody along the roadside, somebody wanted to alight. He too had his luggage in a jute sack. So this man alighted, and not knowing when they were giving his load, it was these shrines in the jute sack they gave to him.
Minister, is it the deity or because the shrine cannot?
So
let the minister finish.
So honorable chair,
I'm coming. Honorable members have
reservation.
They have no reservation, but they think that they are deities and they are shrines. Some are saying that, which is true, a shrine is a place of worship. So obviously that's what they are talking about, not the one you can put in your pocket, not the talisman that you wear, they wear under their waist. They are talking of place of worship.
So Mr. Chair, this fetish priest got to his final destination and said they should give him his sack. And when they searched and they could not see it, they said, hey, man, God is mixing. So everybody, and that day, that fetish priest since then has not been able to locate where this jute sack can be located. So he was rendered powerless. CTN. So, Honorable Chair, the case is a matter of just writing a letter to the MMDCs in the 261, a shrine that is housed or recognized shrine in your district. And Honorable Chair, within 1 week, they may be able to give me the numbers. But we were believing that somebody's shrine, well, these are spiritual things. Somebody's shrine may be a picture. Somebody may be some words written on a paper that is being recited. Different types. But once it is agreed.
Honorable Minister, give to this committee, before we put our report,
the number of shrines.
When it comes to traditional worship places, place of worship, the traditional worship places.
Okay.
what we call place of worship, the traditional ones. That's some will call it shrine, whatever. Then it's identifiable.
Traditional place of worship.
Then they will come to the Christianity, the number of different groups of people, the different types of churches that you have. Then after I think the Islamic, there are about 3 or 4 or something. So it's very easy to be able to do that. Are you able to do that for us?
Honorable Chair, my house, for instance, I have a chapel there.
That's not what I'm talking.
Then,
You, for example,
no, that's what I'm going.
Not church building. I'm not talking about church building.
Every world.
No, listen to me, Honorable Minister.
The most,
you are a Presbyterian, is that right?
I'm a Pentecostal.
Pentecostal. So, Church of Pentecost. I am a Catholic. I may have about 100 Catholic churches in my village. That's
Correct.
not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I am a Catholic.
Yes.
So, we have Catholic Church.
Okay.
We have Methodist Church.
Correct.
We have Apostolic Church.
Yes.
We have Christ the King. Latter days. These are the type I'm talking about. Then when you come to the charismatics, this revival, somebody has a revival, what is there? This have Jesus Christ of something, food to eat is there. This, that is there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, you are right. But where I was coming, he asked how many mosques. So the most according
you can't, because the Muslim sects are there. There are not many.
There are not many.
So you don't need to count the number of mosques. We don't want that.
Precisely. And every prominent Muslim has a mosque in their houses.
No, that's not what we are looking for.
Thank you very much.
We are just looking. The Muslim sects are like 4 or 5. We know. So
Yes.
that's one we know.
Then on the churches too, because of the legal regime that we practice and what happened when the PNDC law was being enacted, because of that, when they are registering the churches, you go to the Registrar General. I've been there on 2 occasions. They don't have official churches registered as churches in the Registrar General Department. And that was our greatest challenge. Because if you have a church, it's a matter of going to the Registrar General to establish it. But because some of them are registered as convention houses, and globally, because of the persecution of Christians, most regimes and countries don't register the churches legally as churches. So counting them, that was the problem. But once you have simplified it, we have the bodies. We have the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic churches. So if we write a letter to them, they should be able to give us. Then we have the Catholic Bishop Conference. Then we have the Christian Council of Ghana. We write to them. If we write to them and they give us, other than that, we may have to do a census of churches and mosques, which may be too cumbersome, time-consuming, and resource, and very costly.
All right.
So once you've given us this template, and if it is clear to me, we should write to the Christian bodies, and they should give us the numbers, and we bring it to you. Is that accepted?
Yes,
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, we thank you for your information. Honorable Chair, I want to make this suggestion. Honorable Chair, yes.
Okay.
We as a committee, we are recommending to the House that all astroturfs should be moved to the sports ministry. Whether they were started by the Common Fund, they were started by Ghana Gas, they were started by GMPC. Let's move all uncompleted astroturfs to the sports ministry so that the next budget, maybe we would have to put some resources to the sports ministry to complete them and manage them. And then going forward, we should regulate it so that we don't have many agencies going into constituencies to build astroturfs anyhow. If we are able to do that, then we'll be managing our resources better. Instead of having Common Fund investing in astroturfs, we have GMPC investing in astroturfs, we have agencies just investing on AstroTurf and they are not completed. So, Honorable Chair, let's suggest to the House so that going forward we don't have these things happening. And then my question to the minister, you kept saying the money for the owner of the question, that money for the AstroTurf was given to the minister. Was the money paid to the minister's personal, the MP's personal account, or it was paid to the common fund of the MP? Let's get that clarity. Because it sounds as if the money was paid to the MP's common.
We have the DC, the District Assembly's account, and then we have the Member of Parliament representing the people's MP's account. And because we wanted this one not to be depleted by the District Assembly itself, that is when it went to MP's development account in the district. By
his personal account. That is the clarity I want.
No, not his personal account. By Honorable Chair, let me thank my colleague, and also to suggest to you, the formula for the disbursement of the common fund is by Parliament. The DCACF report to you. Almost all the CEOs report to the sector committees in Parliament. It shouldn't be that Energy Committee is not aware of the number of AstroTurfs that were done by GMPC, that were done by Ghana Gas, that were done by ECG, and that were done by National Petroleum Authority. They know. So the sector committees must fish all those things out, and we will be able to do them. The negative impact that the uncompleted AstroTurfs are having on the members of Parliament is too severe, and therefore Parliament must take interest in the completion of those AstroTurf. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
So, Minister, you think going forward we should still allow the haphazard way of constructing AstroTurfs so that
no, sports architecture or sports infrastructure should be done by the ministry responsible for sports. And that's what, I'm a member of Parliament. If I were to take custody of if they were to remain in the district assembly, there would be an army. But that is not the best thing to be done. Development doesn't go that way. So I agree with you, but I'm saying that they must be completed first. So Parliament must have interest in their completion. But members of Parliament are suffering. The children were playing football on the park. The MP went there that he was bringing AstroTurf. Then it was awarded to a contractor. A contractor came to site, graded the place, sent concrete and laterite into the place. Now the children cannot play there from 2024 to date. And the contractor is also not aside. So the children as an MP, if you didn't come, we were playing our own football on our own field. You came, and so it's a serious problem. Don't take it for granted. And I think that's why I went to the Minister for Sports, that take interest in this. You must know the number of AstroTurfs we have in the country. The source of funding should not be the criteria for showing who should manage them. Sports is sports. When GMPC is sponsoring World Cup, Blasters, is the money given to Energy Minister? No. So those things should go to Sports Minister, and he will know the number of AstroTurf, those who have, those who don't have.
Honorable Minister, we have just one more last question to give you, and then we'll discharge you. But we agree with you that all sports infrastructure should be under the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Sports, or Sports. But we have a problem. We have the uncompleted AstroTurfs. And so the various agencies under which those contracts were awarded should complete them and hand them over to the Ministry of Sports so that they can manage them. If you take the over 50, 60 AstroTurfs now and hand them over to Sports, unless the Minister for Finance gives him money, he will not be able to complete them. So that's okay.
Honorable Chair, it's part of the reason why sometimes we go to countries where they have AstroTurfs and they have sports facilities to take players to come and play for Blasters. Is that how we used to get the Blasters? It was from the grassroots to the top. And there were costings and there were football fields, grass park, every school. Now, if you come to our cities, almost all the school fields have been given to real estate developers. No place for training. So it is something that this house must get interested in. And I'm saying that if we give all, whether completed or uncompleted, then we make infrastructure audit in all the sports infrastructure that we have in the country. Those completed, those not completed, work in progress, how much is needed to complete them. Then you are the person holding the power of the purse. We work to your instructions. The Minister for Sports, the Minister for Finance report to Parliament. Then we all together will find a way or how best we are going to complete those things and how best we are going to do new ones. So clearly, you call the shot. We are the receiving end. What you say is what you do. Your command is what we do. Thank you very much.
Honorable Babajama, the last on this.
Chairman. Thank you very much. Minister.
I know you.
Minister, I have a worry, and I want you, even political parties. No, I just want to see how best, because you see, we look at best practices. When you go abroad, where we are all learning from, do you see posters spread anyhow? I went to Denmark. I have a friend. What they do is that they put their posters on either trees or on hangers. So I'm just going, can't we enforce some local bylaws to ensure that we can have some sanity? Churches are posting, political parties are posting, schools are posting, everywhere.
Parliamentary
candidates, everybody.
Including you.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
And
Let me
that's
answer.
what I'm saying, that we are trying to sanitize the system. But we are trying to sanitize. I'm just saying that what is your plans in making sure that some of these things we are able to sanitize it? It makes our country very dirty. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Babajama, thank you very much. It's a lively question. You and I, after your campaign, we need to go to Nima and take all your posters.
All right.
Thank you.
Honorable
Mr. Chairman, there's a committee working on authorized structures and signages established by my good self, who are uprooting those signages and taking away those things. But the Ghana Independent Advertisers Association, in fact, they didn't spare me at all. It is something we have done up to a certain stage. We need to take those things out. So you are totally correct. But it is something that the Ghana Independent Advertisers Association is so entrenched that meeting them, when I set up the committee and they started work, uprooting on demolitions, on taking them away, I was in the news all over that I'm wicked. But I'm not wicked. But it's good Parliament is giving me this backing. And it is something we should not encourage to continue. Because it makes the city, in this digital era, I think we need to do diversification. And our Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, Advertisers Association, should go digital. In the coming days, the committee is being chaired by my deputy, with Honorable De La Soa and the likes. Honorable De La Soa was one of the Ghana Independent Advertisers Association. So she has the expertise. And my deputy was a former MCE for LA. She also has the expertise. So we are doing something, but I'll let them come and meet you. Then you are totally right. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, we have a last question by him, but I will ask this question, and after that he will boss it up, and then you can go. It's a very simple question. You don't need to expatiate too much on it. The president during the SONA made a promise, an undertaking, and it falls under you. That's why we are asking you this question. He said, I promise to pay modest allowances to assemblymen and women. Give us an update on that promise.
Honorable Chair, the President promised 100 million in the budget for 2025. By December, 31st December 2025, the President has paid 107 million Ghana cedis to all the assembly members in the country. And each assembly member, all the 9,009 we have 6,000, even to then, the financial controller send it to all the 261 MMDs to pay. So it is being paid on quarterly basis. That the one for 2026, the first quarter was released this week. And as at yesterday, I gave an order. The first quarter is 3 months. I gave an order to the financial controller. Once it has come, send it to the assembly members. So we are on track when it comes to the payment of allowances for assembly members. They were saying that they will not allow tax to be deducted from it. And we said all allowances are tax deductible. And that was the only challenge. But may I also thank Parliament for giving that approval and also for fighting for my ministry to be able to pay the assembly members' allowances. Thank you very much.
So, Honorable Members, so it means every month, each assembly member is expecting to receive 1,200 of
300.
300 deductible
Yes.
by tax. Some taxes will go.
When you deduct the tax, the actual will come to 1,000 and something. And
All
it
right.
is paid to the MMDCs. Then when we bring it to the BIMLA MC, then he will pay to the assembly member, both elected and appointed in her jurisdiction. So we count the number of assembly members you have, then we give it to them, then you pay them. We don't pay direct